Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to another live conversation on ALLATRA TV. We continue our broadcasts on the topic Creative Society, and today we are having a very special guest. I would even say that we were invited to be guests today. But before I start and introduce you our guest, I would like to remind our viewers who are watching us for the first time that Creative Society is a global project launched by ALLATRA International Public Movement. And the idea and the goal of this project is to ask every human being on earth how you envision creative society. What is for you a society where you are happy, where you flourish, where you feel comfortable and safe, and how we can build such a society all together. And this is why we are conducting social surveys and interviews all over the world, globally in 180 countries. You will find nowadays ALLATRA TV in your language, so please stay tuned. And before we start our conversation today, I'm very happy to announce my co-host is Dr. Sonakshi today.
Thank you so much, Abhi.
I'm sure you remember the interview with Dr. Sonakshi, and you remember her participating in round tables, Creative Society, A World Without Violence, and on psychology as well. And Dr. Sonakshi is a head of academics, humanities, arts, and applied sciences at Amity University, Dubai, which is a beautiful university in United Arab Emirates. And we are very happy to have with us today, or to be here with Dr. Hibah. And Dr. Hibah came to Dubai, to the Emirates, 20 years back. Yes, and she is a very special person. And I let the floor to you, Dr. Sonakshi, to introduce Dr. Hibah.
Thank you, Alina. Welcome, Dr. Hibah.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce Dr. Hibah to the audience here. Dr. Hibah is the dentist from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and holds a master's degree from the University of London and a fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. She holds a degree in business administration from Dubai University and a certified quality evaluator certified by the European Society for Quality Management. She is the member of the Committee for Advocacy for People of Determination in the Human Rights Department of the Community Development Authority, founder and executive director of several medical and educational centers, the Early Medical Intervention Center for Children, the Child Learning and Enrichment Medical Center, the Maharat Learning Center and Maharat Arabia Learning Center in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and established the first integration center, the International School of Creative Sciences. Sure. She's the winner of the Cartier Woman Initiative Award in 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Female Leader of the Year 2018-19 Middle East Excellence Award and Dubai Health Authority Award, and earlier the Emirates Woman Award of Leadership in 2011. We welcome you, Dr. Hibah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sonakshi, for a beautiful introduction.
Thank you so much. We would be happy to start with this question. So you started your career very early in life. So we are very keen to understand what motivated you and what keeps you going even today as a person.
I come from Saudi Arabia, a society. I remember when I was growing up, my father was telling me that you are learning, going to school to hang your degree in the kitchen, and you will only use it when you need to make, to make a living, because you are responsible for your father, your brother, your husband. You never have to work.
Yes.
So when we were growing up in the 70s, women were not expected to work, were not expected to contribute. They were not expected to have a voice. They are expected to be housewives, raise their children. And the reason for their education is to help their children learn. That was the vision. You can see how much the society have changed over the last 40 years. So as growing up, I felt like this is not what I wanted. I wanted to be more than just a housewife. But we were taught everything from sewing to, paint. And I learned a lot of skills as a young child, because this is how it is to marry a very decent person who will respect your qualities and this is how it was. And when I finished, I was very smart. I finished with one of the 10 students honored in the kingdom. At that time, we have two options, either to become a teacher or a doctor, because you have to serve women. You know how Saudi Arabia used to be. So I didn't like teaching, so I decided I will go for medicine. But I also didn't want the night calls and, you know, the night duties, so I chose dentistry. But when I studied dentistry, I found that I was passionate about surgery. I fell in love with surgery. So until I finished, I graduated with an honor degree. And at that time, my father found, you know, different, their mindset have changed because they saw that I have the potential to be just, you know, more. And I started to work and I started to go out. Then first job I got in Ministry of Health, I asked to join the surgery department. And they said, no, you are a woman, you're a girl. How can I put you in a ward where there are men and we don't have, it's not possible. The only thing you can do is you can go for the emergency service, but only up to 12 o'clock, like Standrella. 12 o'clock, you have to leave. So at that first job, I learned a lot of skills because you get accidents and people in accidents all bleeding. There is so much going on. And I have to think fast, take decision, work with a team that you don't know who they are. I learned to be responsible, write reports. These reports are used by the police. So all these skills I use today in my business because I was lucky I learned in the first job I had. Then I moved to my second job where I joined the oral surgery department because I have more skills than everybody else. And I finished my fellowship from Saudi Arabia. First time I failed. It was the first time I failed in my life. And my father came to me and he said, you only fail when you quit trying. So I tried again, and when we passed, we were the first two in the kingdom who passed the fellowship exams. So everything you challenged with can be an opportunity. You just have to look at how can I make these challenges into something that can be more positive. And then I decided I wanted to continue with my studies, so I went to London, I finished my master's. I went back to Saudi Arabia, and in my third job, I worked for the army, for the National Guards. And there I established the medically compromised patient clinic because we had a liver transplant center, and the patients were on waiting list, and these patients should not be on waiting list. So I went to the director and I said, I want to establish a clinic for medically compromised patients where I don't see typical patients, I just want to see sick people, and there I have trained all the interns and residents. So alhamdulillah, like my journey in medicine was very, very informative for me, and I helped also others to learn skills. Then I got married, I moved to Dubai. And then my new chapter have started. So I'll give you a chance to ask questions, but what motivates me is the challenges. Every challenge motivates me to think of solutions, to be innovative, creative. Think of every door that closed, there is another door that would open. So you have to look at where I can put my energy to get more than what I really wanted. So it is dynamic. You have to always have the energy to fight and open all the closed doors. For my life, it was the expectation of a woman. I never expected to be where I am today. And I don't think anybody have expected that as well, because at that time, we're not expected to have any contribution to the society. And today we are in a different platform. We are encouraging our daughters and our children and our fellow women to open all the doors, to take the opportunities, to be leaders, to go and learn new skills. And luckily there are models for them to follow. So I think we have that today, and we didn't have that when we were growing up as girls. Yeah.
Absolutely, what a beautiful story, and such a motivational story also. And also I liked how you mentioned about the huge change which happened in our society during the last 40 years, and that's so much important. I'm sure we have a beautiful way for our society to develop, and we will really build something very special, because now we have different approach towards each other. And also what I liked in your story is you've been always motivated to do something for people, really, something to give to the society.
I think also it's rewarding when you make people happy, when you make somebody smile, and sometimes you do it without knowing. A lot of time you make somebody happy and you're not even aware that you're making them happy, but then they come back few weeks or few years back later and they tell you, you have changed my life, or you touched me, and you don't even remember that. And I enjoy that. I enjoy connecting. I enjoy seeing changes that are positive changes. I want to see that this is what I do, because when, I don't know if we will talk about this, but my daughter was diagnosed with autism in 2007, and I looked around, and most of the programs did not support children education. There is no programs to be given to a child who was 1 year and a half. She was very young. I couldn't find anything. And this is where I thought, okay, what can I do to help her? We either immigrate and go to America and start from zero, or we have to do something about it. So this is when I started my first medical center, where I have sourced the one of the biggest centers in the States to come and give us the behavioral intervention programs, which called applied behavioral analysis, and didn't exist in the region at that time. So we brought them in, we brought the speech, the occupation therapy, the psychology, all under one roof, because we knew that the child need all this holistic approach, all working together. I used to suffer because I had my speech in Sharjah and my OT in Jumeirah, and I have to drive, and I'm working as a dentist. It was very difficult. So alhamdulillah, now 14 years since we have started that center, and successfully we have mainstreamed a lot of kids. And it's a long journey as well, full of challenges, because when we started, people didn't even talk about their challenge, that they have a special need child. I would ask people to go on TV and talk about their stories, and they would say, no, we will not. We don't want anyone to know that we have a child with disability. So again, it's a big leap in the society. When we started in 2008, children were not accepted in schools. I remember we had made a study. Parents visited 16 schools and 18 schools and paid 500 dirham for each assessment, and the child was never accepted. So we started a lot of programs since then to get where we are today.
Very inspiring, and I think very important for many families, for so many people, what you did also. This is a model of how difficulties can make us stronger and open a new.
And you're a mother at the end of the day. You want to look and see that my daughter, when she grows to become 20, she has a job. She is somewhere. She's safe. She's secure. She's able to make her own family. And I could not accept that she will be in a special needs center, isolated, not part of the society. I could not accept that for her. And when in 2010 we had few kids ready for school, but schools were not taking them. So we ran a campaign called I Want to Go to School campaign. And we brought all the government on the table, and we started to educate teachers. And we trained since then thousands of teachers on how to do inclusion properly. We did barter deals with schools. For every 2 students you take, we will give you free training. So we started to mainstream students, and luckily now 70-80% of our students are in mainstream schools. And today we have our inclusion center in one of the schools, and we are hoping to get one of the biggest nursery chains to also become more inclusive and provide our services inside the nurseries. It is a challenge to break the rules that have been set for a very long time.
Oh, yes.
And it takes a lot of awareness. We need to change people's mindset, and they need to believe in what you do. And what happens is, if they experience a good, when they see a child going to school and he's successful, they come and ask us, can we have more? Because they saw it's not a challenge. They saw it's not difficult. They are scared, but the minute they have the child, and the minute they see him progressing, and the minute they see him doing well, the fear is gone. There is no more need for fear. And luckily in 2016, the government launched the inclusion strategy. So we started Maharat as the education arm. And now we are in schools and university and at workplace, where we are supporting even employees to with their supervisors, training them, giving them programs to help them also excel in their jobs. And I think our mission will never stop. We will always have to come with solutions, especially with COVID.
Yeah, I wanted to share with our viewers that we are here in Maharat Educational Center in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and it's such a cozy place, such a nice atmosphere, very friendly staff, and immediately you see that this educational center was opened and built with a lot of love, a lot of compassion. And this is, I see, as an example, as a model, how our society should function. Anything what we do should be done for people. And this is one of the main foundations of a creative society, so that society, creative society, should be responsible for what we do for people, should be good for them, should be friendly, because every human is a member of a society. Every person should be accepted, included. By right of being born on this planet, we should perish with life in a human being. And doesn't matter what is the race, the nationality, the special condition of a human being. Our society should be ready to give back everything what is necessary. And what you mentioned also, I liked how you overcame all these stigma and mindset that it's not possible, it doesn't exist. And this is also a great example also for dear viewers, for us who are building creative society now, what we should do, how we should be focused. If we want a good world for everyone, we should act, and we should be really very much active. And maybe you don't know that initially then the project just started. The participants of the project, they were thinking how to spread the idea of the creative society all over the world. We don't have sponsors, we don't have anybody who is paying for us. We are all volunteers. So we decided to use the theory of 6 handshakes. And this is a social theory according to which all of us are connected for 5 or fewer social connections only. We decided, okay, why not to try? And this is how our journey started, and today there are millions of participants of the project all over the world. In 180 countries you will find participants of Creative Society project and ALLATRA TV channels in your language. So this is why we were lucky to meet Dr. Sonakshi, and she was a guest of our show once, and now these 6 handshake social theory brought us here to Maharat Educational Center. And Dr. Hibah, you know, you met so many people, families, people in need, army, government. Tell me one thing, what unites all of us?
We all have one thing that is in common, is that we all want to have a safe environment for our children. We all want to live in respectful societies. We all want to be loved and give love back. We all want to see our society healthy. And I spoke to so many women across the world. All our challenges, whether you are from Saudi Arabia, whether you are from Africa, whether you are Italian or French, it's the same. We are, as women, we are always challenged. We're challenged by our families, by our children, by our husbands, by our employees. Everybody look at you as, oh, she's a woman, she cannot do things. And then you have to prove yourself to everyone all the time. As a doctor, when I started as a surgeon, people thought like I will quit, but I didn't. I was fighting to become a surgeon, and I did. And I did it for a few years. When I went to apply for my master, I applied to 8 universities for surgery and 1 for prosthetic dentistry. I was accepted in prosthetic dentistry because the mindset in the UK at that time is surgery is for men. So it's always a challenge for you to see, to open the closed doors. And unless you have that will and persistency and perseverance to keep on trying, it's not easy for you to cross all these boundaries, regardless of where you are. Because I spoke to women in Switzerland and everywhere, they have the same challenges. It's not changing because you are Western or you are Arabic or you are Indian. It's the same challenges. And we have to always think like a man and think like, I wouldn't say like a man, but like think in a more rational way and not an emotional way. We can't always say, oh, I am a woman, I cannot do it. That's not true. You can do it as a human being. You can do it as a person. It doesn't have to be genderized. Even for men, because there is a lot of movement also to support women, but men, they need the support as well. There are many men who have dreams that they cannot do it because they don't have any organization to support them to do it. At least we are as women, there are so many initiatives to support women entrepreneurs, women in business, like to get more knowledge, more experience, but men also need it. And that guidance helped them also to build healthy organizations. I've been in quality management for a few years since I won the Emirate Businesswoman Award in 2011. It opened my eyes to quality management. So in 2013, I became an assessor and I started to assess organization for excellence. And I work with the Dubai Quality Group, and there I have, we do the Innovation Award. There are a lot of awards, Businesswoman Awards. And I have been exposed to so many organizations, and it's interesting what you can learn from other business and their way of processes and policies and how they run businesses. And you will also find that some people who say they are the best quality, but they don't have the basics of managing with quality. So this is another mission that I had, is to spread the awareness towards quality, because just because I say I give you a high quality, it doesn't mean you do. It just means that you want it to be of that standards, but you need to set up the pillars for sustainable business and a sustainable society. And this is what Maharat and Child Early Intervention is about, is to build a sustainable organization who will serve children for years to come by investing in people training, by investing in infrastructure technology, by availing resources for everyone, by opening up to the world, by promoting the human rights for special need students, regardless of their age and who they are. We want to open, because schools are not open for all of them. In many countries, special schools, we want them in mainstream school. I want to teach typical students to learn how to support them, so then when they work together, they are accepted. Because if I isolate them all their life and then suddenly they are part of a society, it's very difficult for them to be accepted, very difficult for them not to be bullied. It's very difficult for them to function. They cannot love the place because they can't feel they belong to it. And this is where we have a mission of trying to raise awareness towards the standards, the quality, the importance of values, the importance of connection, the importance of supporting each other, giving your hand and pulling people to come up to you. If we live in isolation, we will be in a very difficult situation where people are very difficult.
To keep it like this, but as a result, we are all divided.
But it's hard work.
Yes. It's all divided. Our society is divided. We meet a lot of hatred. We meet a lot of violence.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, bullying also. As we say, creative society is a society without violence, not a single case of violence.
We hope that, yes. And in the States, I'm sorry to disrupt you, the rate of children who have been harassed and bullied and unfortunately abused is 70%. It's very high rate. By any different means, but at the end of the day, it is. We don't want that to happen in our society. We want to be protective. We want to, not only for typical and for atypical children, both have to be protected. And we have to take a firm stand to it. We have to be always working with organizations, with individuals, with communities. Alhamdulillah, in United Arab Emirates, the country is full on board of inclusion. We have seen that since 2016. All the schools now are accepting most of the children. I mean, COVID situation have hindered our progress a little bit, but in the end of the day, there are goals by the United Nations to have all this acceptance in the policies, and most of the countries have signed on it, and they are working towards it.
No, I think what we draw majorly from here is how our common challenges, our common problems keep us united. Because automatically, if we extend ourselves to the community, the love that we give, the love that we receive, the values that hold us are the things that actually keep the society and the community together. So at that note, I'm going to ask you another question, Dr. Hibah. How do you envision a creative society? So according to you, what are the parameters of a creative society where you and your loved ones and everyone in the world can live comfortably?
Funny enough, this morning, I had this conversation with my HR manager, and we said that the generation have changed. The values we have believed in and raised on are no longer there. Unfortunately, today people are more oriented towards making money, and they are more oriented to themselves. It's me first. It's everything revolving around their individual interests. And it's no longer, I'm interested in the best interest of everyone. And I think if I want to make something happen, is I want to work with the new generation to put the seed of what we're talking about is how we can be compassionate, more believe in values, because the values have went so down, and unfortunately this is not healthy at all, not for our generation or for the future generations. So we need to be firm and stick to our grounds on what is right and what is good, and we teach our new generation that it's not acceptable to be a liar, it's not acceptable not to keep your word, it's not acceptable to come late, it's not acceptable not to keep your promise. People now are not looking at this as professionalism is lacking. And if I want to look for a society who is creative and healthy and prosperous, we need to focus on values and focus on our youth to adapt to these values and to work with them, to become a lifestyle. It should not be just something we talk about. It should be our lifestyle. It should be how we wake up in the morning and how we go to bed at night. Everything we do with quality, everything we do with elegance that we are lacking today. We were talking that in the past we had leathers and we had, everything handmade and everything is elegant and everything is beautiful. And now everything is plastic and comfortable, and it's no longer recycled and no more. We understand that this is the future, but again, we need to focus on values. We have to spread that the mind of values today.
This is why we are at the informational stage about the project Creative Society. So our goal is to spread this message to everyone, because, for example, we are talking about global things which touched every single level of our society. Either we come to the education, to health, to the acceptance, to development, to things which are around us. We understand that the format of the society we are living in is not optimal. It's not bringing us to that high level of evolution.
No, unfortunately.
And we understand everything starts with a human. Everything starts in a family. And to build a creative society, we need to bring every person in, every person. So this is why we are talking to people, making these broadcasts, interviews, social surveys, social networks, just talking to people in the street. And also what I liked, for example, then Dr. Sanakshi joined the project. She informed all students, and also the university supported the project. This is how we can spread this message. And how do you envision, what could lead us to a comprehensive development and personal fulfillment of every member of the society?
I think all of us want to be respected. All of us want to have value. We all want to be valuable for whoever we work for. And I always say this is reciprocal. If you don't respect yourself, nobody will respect you. We have to start with ourselves by respecting other people's time, respecting our environment, respecting our families. As I worked as a dentist in England, I've seen mothers 90 years old, 80 years old, and she's telling me, I haven't seen my son for the last 2 years or 3 years. This is not our values. We have to look after our elderly. We have to look after our mothers, our parents. And these are the values that we need to focus on building in our societies. Unfortunately, the movies, and there's a lot of things that are now, is the language that is talking to our children. And it is not what we are passing to them, it's what they see around them. And in order to build a strong society, we need to teach them how to respect everything around them. Respect the tree, respect the cat, respect the animals, because if we see these elements and humans and life as a valuable thing, we will work our best to improve their lives, and it will reflect on us. Because it's all reciprocal. What you give, you will get. If you plant tomorrow, it will give you fruits. If you take care of the things around you, they will not give you disease. They will give you healthy. Everything is what you give. What you plant today is what you harvest later. So we have to work on giving our communities the right pillars to. There is a lot of depression. There is a lot of people who think there are no jobs, there are no opportunities. This is negative. It's not positive. But I always say there is always an opportunity in every problem. look, where are the challenges and focus of them. Most successful entrepreneurs are looking where nobody else is looking. They are finding opportunities in the waste. They are finding opportunities in recycling. They are finding opportunities in a lot of things. So we just need them to think more logically and more analytically and see what is around them. And what they need from us is support. They need us as leaders to give them the opportunity, give them sometimes the money if they need to build something, believe in their ideas. But again, if they don't respect the time so I think respect is one of the very important things which I feel it's very much lacking in the last 5 years. People are starting to cross the boundaries. They are not respecting the elderly. They are not respecting authorities. You cannot build any society if people lack respect. You need to focus on what is important.
And therefore, when we talk about comprehensive development, respect and values are a very important aspect as well. And therefore, I think the initiative that is taken by Alatra TV, which is to instill creativity to creative societies, is such an important initiative. With this, I'd like to ask you that, you're an experienced psychologist, you're a motivational speaker, you inspire people so much all around. So how do you envision the future of education system in this fast growing world?
It's very interesting because Corona have taught us a lot.
Yes.
Corona time, I would say, have taught us that education is possible online. It taught us that the knowledge is available for everyone. Knowledge sharing is something that we have to look at. Today, you don't have to go to school, you don't have to go to university and still earn a degree, which means you can work and study as well. You can do a lot. And in terms of the technology for education, it has improved so much. And for us, as a special need center, we can teach 10 times faster today than what we did 5 years ago. Why? Because we have apps. We have created a platform where parents, therapists, teachers can utilize a lot of apps to teach their students. And before we used to prepare material. Now I don't have to prepare material. I have them ready-made. I just need to share them or take them from whoever have created them. There are so many platforms for communication, platforms for teaching, platform for learning, platforms for saving information, for sharing books, for writing stories, for teaching reading, writing, phonics, anything you want, designing. So I believe that education have moved leaps beyond what we really know today. The opportunities are huge. The problem is sometimes we have language barriers, so we are not able to utilize this technology properly. We will see that our younger generation is using it better than we are, because I learn from my kids. It's not only social platforms. Social platforms are good for us to spread the words and spread our ideas. But when we're talking about platforms that are built to share education resources, there are to share experiences, to show videos, 3D and augmented reality and artificial intelligence. There is so much today that will change our future. And maybe, I don't know, I remember we used to mathematically do mental math. 3 multiplied by 3. We know how that. Now our children, if I ask him 3 by 3, he will have to get a calculator and multiply. So we don't know how this will reflect on our students. We don't know, because if you make it too easy for them, they might not be able to think for themselves anymore. Because the traditional way is we used to use our brain more. Now we are using technology more and putting, our brain to do Minecrafts and gaming and things like that. So yes, the future of education is going to move very fast, faster than we can comprehend. And with artificial intelligence, now you can you just put information and you will get solutions and programs. And we in the center, we have invested a lot in technology and infrastructure, and we are utilizing also artificial intelligence, and we're trying to build the trend and to see how we can benefit from all the data that we have, so it can benefit the entire world, not only our center. I believe education will become easier for people to get. There will be no illiterate person if they choose to be. They have to get into a platform where they can learn, but if they don't, then they cannot learn anything. But again, we have to focus also on the content. We need to put the right content on our platforms, and I hope that this will also enrich our generations to come.
Yeah. And now you touched already, so many important topics of the creative society, because also you spoke about to build such a society, we need to find these foundations, those pillars on which we can build such a society. And I'm happy to announce to our viewers that these foundations are already existing, and you can find them on the webpage allatraunite.com. These 8 foundations, 8 pillars of the creative society, they were created based on the answers of people from all over the world. And they were describing the world in which they want to live. Like Dr. Hibah told us today, they were all mentioning these 8 foundations. So now you will see them on the screen. And of course, the first foundation the format of the society in which we are living, because unfortunately nowadays we are used to put responsibility on someone, on government, and just then sit and criticize what we don't get right. But this is why we invite people like Dr. Hibah to give models and examples what one person can change in a society if we start to act. And creative ideology, of course, is one of the most important pillars, because we live at the time of the technologies, and as we discussed today, the content which our children absorb, who is creating this content, and what are the values of those people who are creating this content. If our common values are to create a content which will help a personality to develop, to give a new skill, to become a good person, how important, how beautiful our society is. And I liked also that you touched the topic of education at the time of Corona, because we know that education was not available to people. Not in every corner of this world people could get education. And at the time of this development of online education, now we see, we understand exactly how education can be brought to every corner of this planet. And a society will only benefit then we will have a lot of educated people. And this is why I know that Dr. Sanakshi is spending a lot of time to help the personality of children to grow, to flourish, to have more self-confidence, to believe in yourself. And I believe also that parents and adults should also take this path of internal change, because we should go to the creative society all together with our children, and
True.
we are the models
True.
for our children,
True.
of course. So yes, dear viewers, don't hesitate to read the article Creative Society and the stages of its creation and 8 foundations of the creative society on allatraunite.com, because in this article you will read more about these pillars. And please come back to us and comment and read us in the emails about how you envision implementation of these 8 foundations into our everyday life as well.
So now that we're going to close the interview, Dr. Hibah, one of the most fundamental questions that we'd like to ask you is, what is true happiness and love for you?
For me,
Yes.
I breathe love. For me,
That's wonderful.
love is a lifestyle.
Wow.
You either love what you do or you don't do it.
Love is a lifestyle. That's
Yes, it
wonderful.
has to be. For me, that is it. I love my family. I love my employees, as Rusty can say. I feel we are blessed because we are able to give and take love. Love is not something you can imagine. It's you can live. I love to look at beautiful trees. I love to look at flowers, birds. I love to hear the singing birds in the morning. And I breathe love. I wake up, and when I am not in a good mood, I dress pink and red and flowers, because I want to be in that mood all the time. And it's a choice. Yes. I think it's a choice that we make, whether we want to be happy or not happy. And it's a choice if I want to be picky and nagging and critical and complainer. And it's a choice when I want to ignore all that and just focus on the best things we have in life. And God gave me a daughter with autism, so I learned so much from her. I learned that every small thing that my daughter do is a huge thing in my heart. She can make my heart dance every day with a very simple gestures. And I learned that if we don't, because if you have a typical kid, you don't see the value of the small things that change your life. My daughter changed my life. She changed it forever. She changed it because I have been spoiled. As a growing person, we were spoiled with all the commodities and all the lifestyle and all the things that comes to you and spoon-fed to you. And then I faced a challenge, and that challenge made me shift my thinking. I looked at every challenge that comes into my pathway as a way to improve, a way to bring something better to life. And I am on a mission since that time. But also I learned that if we are not able to be happy in our lives, if we are not able to look and see the positive things around us, if we can't see the qualities of the things that are happening around you, you are not able to move any step forward. You only move forward because the energy you have is positive and you are spreading it around and everybody's giving it back to you. And love can give you that. Love is the only emotion that will give back to you. People come and appreciate, and even if they don't say anything. For me, if the child come and he's not talking, and after 1 year he's in school doing well, for me that I say this is no value for this. There is no monetary thing that can tell you this is beyond. You cannot measure it. There is no value. There is no compensation for that. And God has given me a beautiful daughter. When she was 1.5 years old, she was not speaking. She barely said one word. And today she's in school in grade 9. She speaks English, Arabic. She's getting 100% on all her exams. I can't complain. I'm alhamdulillah blessed by the team I have. I'm blessed with all the people who surrounded me during the very tough time. Last year was a very, very difficult time for everyone. For my employees, for my family, for our children. They were suffering so much because of the corona situation. But I think if we didn't have that element of love to combine us together, to keep us coming to work, with all the problems we have, we kept smiling, making jokes, talking to each other. And with alhamdulillah, we passed that time and now we are into a new era. So I believe that if you don't make it a lifestyle, if you don't make it part of your life, yani, you live it, you have to live love. You can't talk about it. You can't say, I love X. No, you show it by action, by deeds, by things you do for others, by giving, by taking, sometimes people give you something and you don't want, but you take it because you love them. You want to show them that you appreciate. And we have to work on that. So yes, that's my answer for you. I live love all the time.
What a wonderful takeaway. So love is a lifestyle and a choice.
It has to be. It's a choice, yes.
And then can be, seen in action, which is amazing. I think it's a wonderful takeaway.
You have to practice it. And if you don't practice it, and unfortunately there are people who don't know how to love. They don't know how to show their emotions. They don't know how to say positive things to others. And I wish that they listen to me today and they decide in their mind, let me try it and see how it reflects. It will reflect positively.
Thank you for such a message, and I highly appreciated that you showed this road and you mentioned it's a choice. Yeah. Because we live sometimes people feel so much chaotic, that something is happening in their life, they don't know why. And first, what we say, you want to live in a creative society, at least answer one question. How do you envision a creative society? Just envision once in which society you would like to live in. And then basically you will understand that we all want to live in the same society. We are all united and we can build such a society, but only all together. This is why, dear friends, please join the Project Creative Society. Visit allatraunites.com. Find the red button, join us, click it. leave your email and we will contact you. Even if you only like this project and you don't have time, or you don't feel the potential to act right now, but you like the project and you support the project, please click that red button so we know that people in these and these countries, they are supporting Creative Society. And thank you so much for
Thank you.
today's interview.
I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Absolutely.
Thanks to Alatra TV and thanks for your team. We're wonderful. I really enjoyed our meeting and I hope that we continue to work together and help the Creative Society to prosper and even grow to a bigger audience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hibah. And to continue our theory of 6 handshakes and to continue our shows, who you would like to nominate for the next show? Do you have people in mind?
I have so many people in mind. I'll just give you a list of 100 people if you want. I have been lucky. Winning the Cartier Women Award put me in contact with a lot of amazing women entrepreneurs who have done a lot of work internationally and a lot of women here as well. But what I'm saying is these women are truly changing the world. Some of them have invented products to help with cancer, some of them products to help with diabetes, some of them are recycling items to make life better. And I have a lot of these wonderful women that I can share with you, and I'm sure some of them will be very much interested across the globe to be part of your Creative Society. And in a local level, also there are so many women, wonderful women who have done a lot for their own children, for their own communities, for women as well. And there are a lot of individuals. Is it limited to women or men as well are welcome?
Creative Society
It's for everyone, exactly. So there are a lot of men also who deserve nomination and appreciation for what they have done to our communities, and under the leadership of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid in Dubai and Sheikh Zayed, God bless his soul, and everybody is really towards creating a better society. We are definitely in a society we are blessed to have sun every day, to have all these good things around us. We are challenged, but I think people are together today to try to overcome all these challenges we have. And I believe that there are so many people who are wonderful, and I'm sure they will definitely enrich your channel and your project and the Creative Society project.
We are looking forward, and we invite everyone, dear viewers, also if you want to become a member of Creative Society and also become a guest of our show Live Conversation or participate in a round table and say something to the world. Just tell your opinion about how you envision our future. Maybe you have already ideas how we can all unite, how we can overcome these divisions and find those common pillars and core values which can unite all of us. Please join us. And I would like also make an announcement that on the 20th of March 2021, Creative Society will conduct another global conference, and I would like to invite all of you to watch now a video about this conference, and please decide, maybe you want to become a speaker, participate in the research to prepare this conference, or support it by watching it, spreading it to other friends and family members. So don't hesitate to join us, and see you soon on Alatra TV Middle East.
Unprecedented event of present history. Initiative that comes from people around the world. Main project of humanity. People stopped being silent about urgent issues of our society. How it all started. May 2019, International Online Conference, Society, The Last Chance. 140 countries of the world. Hundreds of thousands of people online, hundreds of broadcast platforms, translated into 7 languages simultaneously. If we all want to live in peace, why do we have a world of violence and destruction? It is up to us to build a different world. How can we do it? December 2020, Creative Society, United We Can. 180 countries of the world, millions of people online, thousands of streaming platforms, 35 languages simultaneously translated. People have voiced today's reality and what they truly desire. And it is the creative society. All cultures have an image of the ideal world people want to live in. A world that prophets talked about. The time has come when we can make it real. How will we use this chance? Let's meet March 20, 2021, 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. International online event of global scale. Creative Society, what the prophets dreamed of. This is the day the world will unite to find out the truth, join the entire humanity, and spread